Hi all, I am Pratisha, Assistant Professor in KT College of Arts and Science. So here I am going to handle the fifth module of HR. So the fifth module starts from development initiatives. Development initiative, what it means? The organization is going to develop someone. The organization is going to take some initiatives to develop someone. That someone, who it means? Definitely the human resource should be there, right? So development initiative means the organization is going to develop the human resource to achieve their organizational goal. So how an organization can develop their employees? Commonly there are two methods are there, training and development. So through training and development program, an organization can develop their employees. So I am asking, what is the difference between training and development? So training, it's a skill improvement or potential improvement or knowledge improvement process. The organization is going to train the employees to improve their talent, potential, caliber or some skills. That is a training part. Apart from training, the development means it's somewhat separate entity. So development means overall potential development, overall caliber development. Now we can switch to another point, workers' participation in management. The very important one, WPM, workers' participation in management. So the word itself reveals the meaning, right? So some workers have some interference or some role in decision making process, right? In a way we can say that workers can influence the decision making process, or the worker has a role to say something while taking decision making. So here comes a small role of an employee to the organization. So the decision may be accepted or rejected, it may depend, but still worker has a role in the organization. That is WPM. Workers has a role in the decision making process of an organization is called WPM. So now we can discuss what are the scope of WPM. Why the organization is going for WPM. The scope of WPM we can discuss. The first one is information sharing. Information sharing means it's a common platform for both employer and employee to share their opinion, share their suggestions, share their viewpoints regarding some decision. So it's an information sharing platform. So the first scope should be information sharing. The second one is sharing decision making. The decision making is here not only the process of management entity, here it's a sharing platform. Here the employees have also the role in decision making process. So it's a sharing decision making process. The last one is self-control. Both the employer and employee is treated as a asset of the organization. They do have similar value, similar consideration. That's why the management is giving a role in the decision making process. So here WPM has three important scope. First one is information sharing, second one is sharing decision making, third one is self-control. Right. So now we can switch to levels of participation in WPM. WPM have 5 participation level. The first one is information participation. So what do you mean by information participation? Information participation. So here the company is giving some information to the employees. They can only scrutinize whether it is right or wrong. For an example, if the organization is providing balance sheet by the end of that year, employees can scrutinize it. So the second one is consultative participation. Consultative participation means workers' suggestions and viewpoint has been encouraged by the management. There may be a chance to accept or reject, but the workers act as a consultant to the management while taking decision making, while taking decisions. They act as a consultant to the management. Okay, next one is associative participation. Here, the workers' council should be there. Here, they are getting more priorities than the previous one. The acceptance of their viewpoints are highly recommended by the company. So, most of the suggestions will be taken care of. Most of the opinion will be taken care of. So, the workers' participation council should be there. That is associative participation. So, next one is administrative participation. Here, the degree of freedom and authority should be much more higher. In administrative participation, workers have much more degree of freedom and much more authority than the previous one. Next one is decisive participation. So it's a very interesting one. Both the employer and employee jointly take the decision. They do have equal viewpoints, equal rights. Okay, they do have equal roles. They jointly take the decision. Team building. So before going to team building, we should know what you mean by team. So team means 12 more person formed a group, achieve some common objectives. They do have some common idea. So they do have some common viewpoints. Maybe friends group, colleagues groups, workers groups, sometimes professional groups, etc. So team building means motivate individual employees to work together, to enjoy together, stay together, and achieve a goal together. So if someone is going to motivate individual employees to achieve a common objectives, he or she should form a better group with a better team spirit. So here comes the importance of team building. So that team should have a common goal. They should be ready to work with each other with a happy atmosphere, with a good team spirit, and to have a mutual trust and interest too. So that is the importance of team in an organization. So next one is we can start with components of team building. As I said earlier, first component should be goal setting. That team should know what they should achieve, that what they are going to achieve. Goal setting should be two types. The individual goal should be there and a common goal should be there. Each and every employee in that group should know what is the role of himself in the organization, and each one should know what is our role in that organization, what we are going to achieve, what is our objective to achieve. The first one is, I will repeat the point, first one is goal setting. In the goal setting process, the two things should be taken care of. The first one is individual goal should be there and a common goal should be there. The second one is interpersonal relationship. In everything, in our personal life or professional life, interpersonal relationship should be very important, as we know. So, like that, in a team itself, interpersonal relationship should be there. Each and everyone should have a mutual understanding, mutual trust, mutual value, and a mutual consideration too. So only into that way an individual can interact better way into that group. They can sustain with a happy mind. So By considering those points, we can set a well-defined, well-clarified, crystal clear group with a good team spirit. So the first one is, as I said, goal setting. Second one is interpersonal relationship. Third one is role clarification. Each and everyone in that organization should know what is the role of himself. This is my role. This has to achieve. And it's my duty. It's my responsibility. I'm accounting for something. That should known by each and every employee in that team. Next, fourth one is problem solving. As we know that team members are from different family, different culture, from different social atmosphere. So they do have several viewpoints, different emotions, different thinking capacity. So the problem there will arise a problem. But the thing is, the problem should solve spontaneously. Otherwise, it will burn the team spirit. It will destroy the team spirit. So, നമുക്കറിയാം കനല് അണയ്ക്കാൻ എളുപ്പമാണ്, പക്ഷെ തീ ആണെങ്കിൽ അത്രയ്ക്കും കൈ നിൽക്കുന്ന കാര്യമല്ല. The same thing. So the problem should solve spontaneously. So these are the components of team building. Goal setting should be there. Interpersonal relationship management should be there. Role clarification should be there. The last point is problem solving. What do you mean by collective bargaining? Here two parties should be there. Management should be there and workers should be there. The management and workers are negotiating something. Maybe it may be related to a working condition. Negotiated regarding some working condition of that organization. Both the parties, the management should be there, the employee should be there. Both are negotiating for something to reach a conclusion regarding the working atmosphere. For an example, if the employees are demanding much more salary than the current present salary condition, they may present it before management. Both the management and the employees have a discussion. These are called negotiation. And it will reach a conclusion, and the conclusion should be acceptable for both the employer as well as the employees. It should be acceptable for both the parties. This is called collective bargaining. Next one is process of collective bargaining. Process of collective bargaining include 2 points: negotiation phase and contract administration phase. So, collective bargaining include 2 points: negotiation phase and contract administration phase. First, we can discuss what are the points included in negotiation phase. So, in negotiation phase, the first one is negotiation team. So, in a negotiation phase, the first one is negotiation team. So, what do you mean by negotiation team? Who are the parties included in that team? The first should be from management side, the company lawyer or the HR manager should be there, and from the employee side, employee representative should be there. In a negotiation team, from the management side, the HR manager or the company lawyer, and the employee side, the employee representative should be there. And the second one is preparation of negotiations. So preparation of negotiation in the sense, what are the proposal, what are the point that we have to shown in front of management, that the employees should discuss it before coming in front of management. They should know what are the points we should arise, what will be the counterpoints, what will be the arguments, what will be the status of a proposal. These are the things to be prepared by the management as well as the employees. The management should also prepare some counterpoints while in the meeting, right? They should prepare well too. So both the parties well prepare before coming to the discussion mode. That is preparation stage. Second one, bargaining strategy and tactics. The management should be ready with some strategy by thinking how we can tackle this situation. And from the employee side, they should think how we can manage diplomatically, or how we can bring the management to our hand. What are tactics should we choose? We can choose. What are the things we can taken care of? So that is the bargaining strategy and tactics stage. The last one is follow up. Follow up in the sense both are coming to the conclusion stage. As I said before, the conclusion should be acceptable for both the parties. Both the parties in the sense both the company representatives as well as the employees representative or the representatives. So the conclusion should be acceptable for both the parties. So the negotiation phase include 4 steps: the negotiation team, preparation of negotiation, bargaining strategy and tactics, and the follow-up. And next one is the second point, contract administration phase. So when the contract is signed, the agreement is acceptable for both the parties. It should be follow up. It should be implemented as soon as possible to that organization. That is contract administration. It is going to implement. The agreement is going to implement that organization. That is the contract administration phase. It's quality of work life. So it refers to the commitment, involvement, self-motivation, and passion towards the work environment of an employee. If an employee is so much committed, so much passionate, so much involved in a work environment or his profession or his organization, towards his organization, we can say that he is possessing a good quality of work life. So an example, if I am saying teaching is my profession, teaching is my profession. But if I am saying teaching is my passion rather than my profession, definitely I can say that I do have quality of work life. So passion and profession. For the first case, it's a profession. From that I am getting earning. From that profession I am getting something in terms of monetary wise. But in the case of passion, I am getting money. I may getting money, but rather than the money, I am getting satisfaction. I am happy. I am very much delighted with that profession. That is my passion. So, if a person is possessing his professional life as a much more interesting area, he would have much more involvement, much more commitment, and much more passion towards his work environment, we can definitely say that he is possessing a good quality of work life. That is simple. That much simple it is. So, next one is impact of globalization. So, before going to impact of globalization, so what do you mean by globalization? It's precisely or simply we can say that the whole world under one umbrella. The whole world is treated as one market. So, what may be the impact because of globalization? So, which are the affected area through globalization? The first impact should be the globalization of production. In production area, what are the things that we can see differently after globalization? Massive production, mass production compared to the previous one. New technologies are coming. 2 ideas have been generated. So the ideas and technologies are adopted from some different countries. So this is because of globalization. Ideas are easily available and technologies are easily adoptable. Second one is globalization of market. We can purchase anything from anywhere now. How? Any products are available. Any company's product are available in our Indian market. How? Because of globalization. If someone wants Chinese product, if someone wants American product, if someone wants London product, if someone wants Turkish product, it's available here in Indian market. It's because of globalization. Next one is globalization of investment. I can invest my money to a foreign country, or the foreign can invest their money to Indian economy. So in the investment area itself, globalization is cherished. So next one is globalization of technology. More advanced technologies are imported as well as exported. So the very advanced technologies are adopted by the Indian market itself. As we know, we are only a developing country, but itself we are adopting well modernized technology because of globalization. These are the major impact because of globalization. The first, as I said, globalization of production, globalization of market, globalization of investment, and globalization of technology. The next one is outsourcing. So what do you mean by outsourcing? We all know in Technopark, most of the BPOs, business process outsourcing companies are there, BPOs are there. So many techies are working there. They are doing job for our company. For that, we are giving payment to them. The job are being outsourced. We can say this is because of globalization. These are the things that we that included in our 5th module. So any queries, any feedback, any suggestions, you can contact me through my WhatsApp or my mail ID is